welcome to speak to us John Brannan, who was the shop stewards convener of the occupation, member of the Amalgamated Union of Engineering Workers, and a key figure in the struggle to save the 1,200 jobs back in 1987. Thank you very much, John.
You get all the best lines now.
You want to talk first? You want to go first?
I'll go first now.
Okay.
Okay, back
you
on
can
my
finish
feet.
off.
So, sorry, can I now welcome John Gillen,
Because
who
everybody will be fed
was
up.
the senior engineering steward and
If you go
deputy
first, then we'll
convener
let
during the
us know.
occupation. He was also a member of the AUEW, and after the occupation, John retrained as a social worker. Thank you very much, John.
And don't hold that against me, please. Well, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, love saying that because I don't get much opportunity nowadays. I don't know how much people remember about the Caterpillar, what they know about the Caterpillar. There's an age group that, believe it or not, thought Caterpillar was about boots and t-shirts and what have you. And that was disgusting, but that was fact. One of the, I don't know if you're aware, but the organisation that we've started is called Caterpillar Workers Legacy Project. It's great to have a bit of crack with all our old comrades, the ones that are still with us. But it had to be more than that. We had to get across, or attempt to get across, the legacy of what it meant to be in that type of struggle. And how we were just ordinary trade unionists. We weren't revolutionaries, although it was a revolutionary act, when you think about it. You challenge the very basis of capitalism. When you were able to stand while you're locking the gates, and the big Yank, the American, the untouchable, appeared at the other side of the gate and said, "Hi, can I get in?" And you said, "No, you're not getting it. You don't want the factory, we want the factory." It exploded the whole idea of the occupation. It was never ever going to be, right, we're going to strike, we'll stand out there, and incidentally, in 3 feet of snow, with picket lines, about getting battered with a police, dogs, horses, and this was pre-miners' strike. I think they practiced on us. We were never going to have that. It was mind-blowing for everybody. And John will tell you better about it when he made the announcement publicly to the assembled press and media, how they reacted. Some of them had to have it explained what an occupation was. However, almost, I don't know how you would describe it, as the weeks went by, the organisation grew from within. There were various committees set up. We didn't set them up, they came and told us they'd been set up. There was a finance committee responsible for, I think we ended up with £300,000 donated from all over the world. We never got a penny of it, but that was down to the treasurer as a miserable old git. Anyway, there was an entertainments committee. Now that, on the surface, might seem daft, but people were coming in to do a full shift as though they were going to their work. And that was fine. They went out under the auspices of another committee called the You Can Collect Committee, where it was initially locally, and then it spread as far and wide as it could go in the one day to collect. Collected at football matches, collected shopping centres, like Asda would be a favourite. These then reported back to us. The first couple of weeks, you couldn't get moving for MPs, no MSPs, we didn't have them, MPs, councillors, some of whom were helpful, some, you'll find this hard to believe, seen it as a photo opportunity. Didn't actually understand what was happening. Initially, John again will fill you in, he went to Mid-Lanark District meetings, and they didn't know what we were doing. They didn't know what was happening. What? Occupied, threw them out, and you were in. It was everybody's favourite industrial dispute for a while. And then, of course, as we knew, we always knew what was going to happen, the support dwindled. The press, who initially, believe it or not, Daily Record, even Times telling you you're wonderful. A week later they weren't they? And a fortnight later they were telling us we were terrible. But that wasn't unexpected. The point is, everybody cashed in. And the hard fight was for us, was to keep encouraging the workforce that it wasn't gesture politics. This was real. We had an aim in sight. And it wasn't that dramatic an aim. They had initially completely refused to negotiate in any shape or form. It was an announcement, it was a fait accompli. In my memory of when we were called in to be told was, the company have a problem and you are a victim of the remedy. Now get your head round that. Wait a minute, mate, you're just telling us 1,200 jobs are out the door. That's exactly what it was telling us. No negotiations, no nothing. So you can understand it wasn't that difficult. The anger that was generated to throw them out, chain the doors, and keep them out. As it went on, as it progressed, on the one hand, we get tremendous support. We get delegates for every factory you could have mentioned were coming to the door. The donations were flooding in to rank and file trade unions. On the other hand, people who could have influenced it were distancing themselves gradually. We had a visit from, let me see who, Neil Kinnock. He was on his way to the Labour Party conference. And the story goes that he was going to body service. He wasn't going to come. Till it was pointed out he was on the M8, which is not that far from a Caterpillar. And I believe it was Anne in the local Labour Party who said, I'll tell you what, you do that, we'll pick out the M8, we'll stop your convoy. And what a redneck that'd be. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, I hope it's true. He did show up, done the tour, was impressed. This was not a rundown factory. This was cutting edge. Now, some of you will be aware that in September they said they would invest $62.5 million. They had a big open day, a big gala day. Bring your wains down. Let them play with a tractor. Give them balloons. The balloons were giving out balloons. So they had Malcolm Rifkin, no less. And Malcolm said, this is a way forward for Scottish capitalism. And he had him sitting in a tractor posing like a haddy. All over the news, great stuff. 13 weeks later, now what they had said was virtually a guarantee of employment. People were making decisions on the basis of that. 13 weeks later, the company have a problem and you're a victim of a remedy. So obviously that anger fed in. And we used that anger. It's right through the occupation, but people get frightened. People, you know, they were getting pressured. You're going to lose. In fact, they issued a statement. They were really good at putting statements into the papers and sending every individual letters saying your redundancy money is at danger, at risk. You keep this up, we're going to play hardball. Didn't make any difference to the majority. We held the majority right to the end. There were some major disappointments. One of them was the basic tenets of trade unionism didn't happen. We wanted a blacking campaign for the docks, for anybody, transport workers, up and down the country. Anything that was painted yellow, black it. That would have killed them stone dead. Didn't happen. Then we were being told, you can't do that. You can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, we'd love to do it. They didn't even ask. They were a big scare among top echelons of unions about the sequestering the funds. It was going to ruin everybody. And we obviously weren't worth that. That's a Biden disappointment. That's the bit we could have won a lot. I think it was somebody put it in a nutshell, he said, but if you win, everybody will want to win. I said, well, that's the idea, aye. What's up with that? As regards them going to law, they done that with us. John will fill you in on the performance that was at the High Court, Court of Session, whatever they call it. Guys dressed up with wigs and stuff. So, they got an interim interdict that said, get out, basically. At least that's how it was interpreted. That's not what it said. And the judge, believe it or not, was as sympathetic as he could be within the rules. They delivered them all personally, your name was on it. And they delivered them all. And again, none of our doing. Some of the stewards got a 5-gallon drum and chucked them on the drum, set fire to them. That's what you think of your court, and you're into an interdict. There's another story about that happened the day this was delivered, we were announced about this, was when I come by, I was taking a young politician around the factory who happened to be a lawyer. Well, in a place in an uproar because they misinterpreted the phone call I got for John and Davy Knight. And they were packing up, ready to clear out. They said, oh, well, hold it. So they got everybody into the auditorium. Anywhere else it's a hall, but it's an American firm, so it's an auditorium. And they got the guy to speak to them. Explain an interim interdict. One, it's interim, and two, it's a civil action. SWAT teams are not going to come in through the windows, and so forget that. The gentleman in question was none other than Kenny McCaskill, who I don't know, he's not still there, is he? No. Anyway, I was hoping when Richard had arranged the parliamentary visit that he was going to be there so I could tell him that story in front of everybody, but unfortunately he wasn't there. There was loads of incidents, but there was a plan B if you like, was a massive amount of what was produced wasn't the actual tractor. It was the parts of the tractor. Can you imagine how many parts are on a car? Well, you were producing these, and that might not have sustained 1,200 people, 1,200 jobs, but it would have kept the place open. Another disappointment, that was a time for local senior management to come in and say, right, we'll buy into this. We know all the contacts, all the rest of it. Didn't want to know. They've been scared off somehow or other. So we're constantly fighting this. With some support of our colleagues in France, Grenoble and Gosselies, to the extent that John and they signed an agreement to set up a European committee and send that away to America. Funnily enough, they didn't like that idea. They like people associating with them. So, as it rolled on, we had to fight really hard. We had a weekly mass meeting. And fine, it was the majority was getting less and less, the pressure was getting greater and greater. Accusations started very early that the mass meetings were bent, that we were cheating for the platform. This was after the first mass meeting, when 6 people out of about 1,200 voted no to carry on the occupation. Some idiot went out and told the press, it's crumbling. So you ever hear or see a reference to crumblies? These people were known as crumblies, and to this day they're known as crumblies. Anyway, in the last mass meeting of that type, we had 2 clergymen counting the votes, so that, you know, there couldn't be accusations. We weren't counting the vote. And we won it by 6 votes. That's how close it was. And at the end, when we'd won by the 6 votes, this comrade here, who was full of pulling strokes on us as well as everybody else, announced to everybody there, right, that's the last mass meeting we're having. So we've got something to tell you. Because the company's directions are all towards winning this mass meeting. Now, I don't know who's more surprised, the good guys or the bad guys, but it was a stroke of genius. Because we didn't need to go through this every week. The focus then went to, right, can we get another buyer? Can we get them to leave stuff here, equipment here? What can we get out of this? And, you know, that was a day in, day out thing. Could I just add, because he's, believe it or not, he's dead modest, he's not like me at all. John addressed shift meetings every day, 8 o'clock for a day shift, 4 o'clock for a back shift, and 11 o'clock for a night shift. Every day of the occupation, bar maybe 1 or 2. That's the leadership and the support. The leadership, because he was supporting us, although he doesn't know it, that made it all possible. Now, you're wondering if I'm going to go on all night, and I certainly could do, but without further ado, I'll ask the chair to introduce John Brannan.
Thanks very much, John. I'm hoping that you've left something for John Brannan to say.
Oh, don't you worry, you'll make it up.
It is hugely important to get these recollections. I think we're being recorded, so that's good. So thank you very much for those recollections of the time. And it's now my pleasure to introduce to you John Brannan, who was in fact the shop stewards convener at the time of the occupation. Thank you very much.
I'll no stand up, because John's told the whole story, but I was looking at the pamphlet there. Our class, our culture, that hasn't changed at all in the 30 years for the Caterpillar, and it never changed for the 30 years of my working life prior to that. There were always cultures and classes, and we never seemed to be part of the culture or part of the class. Not that anybody ever asked us to join. It's not like the Masons or the Knights, when they meet in a corner asked you to join. Nobody ever asked me to join anything, or any other working class guy that I became associated with. And one of our comrades in here the night was talking about where was the Caterpillar, and he says, I googled it. I says, how did you google it? He says, I put in Caterpillar. I says, you would get a butterfly. It was bulldozers we made. It wasn't caterpillars, it was bulldozers. And that's the difference. Now, when I think back, what John was touching on, how we got a reaction, the Caterpillar cell caused the reaction. Because for 3 months before that, what similarities you see today in the press with the car workers in England. And I hope we remember their car workers if it comes to a struggle. I know English car workers, as was demonstrated to us during our occupation. It wasn't the Scottish Caterpillar workers or engineers in the Caterpillar factory in Scotland We were embraced by our community, by Scotland, by England, Wales, Ireland, any country and any town you'll find in your coupon, because that was only geography I got, where it's in the coupons, well, it must be a place. And funnily enough, we got support from everywhere. So if I remember the similarities to the Caterpillar when you're hearing the press, 3 months prior to the announcement of the £62 million, we were bombasted in the work with big posters on the main passage. This is the way it's going to be. This is for you. Automation. Go to the weld line and you'll see robotic welding. Go to the hydraulic machine line and you'll see CNC machines. Go to the stores and you'll see equipment being put in. So if you need a part at your machine, the store knows before you go. So when you go to the store, you just take it and you stick it into an arm on a robot. The workers in the Caterpillar, for at least 3 months prior to that, were getting indoctrinated with this progress we're making. But we had to win the new model. We made a D6, the new model D6, which sat out there with a high drive. That was up for grabs. If you didn't get it Tunnockside, you were off. But you're a good workforce, you can do the business and do the rest. That's the same campaign that's getting basically enacted now with the car workers. The end of the day was, we got the D6. We won the D6. Somebody somewhere else obviously didn't. But we got the D6 and then we get the promise of the £62 million. The rest followed. When I go back to class and structure, it would be surprising how many working class people suddenly became middle class when we get the D6. They spoke about semi-detached houses, 2 motor cars, holidays in Spain. The only guy that made any money was apprentice travel agent in Hamilton, because we were all diving in. Initially it was for a flight to Spain. We finished up with a bus to Spain. That's how we got to Spain, and that's true. But we were indoctrinated. But when the announcement was made to close the factory, that's when our class showed. The people who thought they were middle class came down to earth with a bang. And that's what's rang the day, I think. We've got too many people that we seem to recognise as they're a society or a class that doesn't belong to us. Of course they belong to us. The people who stay in the semi-detaches and Tunnockside where the Caterpillar was built are working class people, just the same as us. That's the people we should be going to and saying, come on, get your arse into the trade union movement here, because that's what it's all about. The trade union members is what it's all about. And as I said, good shop stewards don't tell members of no case. And good officials don't tell committees of no case. And good Nationals Committee don't tell workers that they're not going to get any redundancy pay or strike pay contribution if they don't do what they're told. We're still living in this class that one class tells another class what to do. And that's what we've got to fight. And that's the unity we got on the shop floor. We get the unity at the shop floor where one guy says to another, I'm just the same as you, mate. I'm just a Joe Thompson's bearing like you are, just the same. I'm losing my job and it's unlikely I'm going to get a job. So what can I do? And we never organised the CAN committee. Never heard of a CAN committee in my life. But it wasn't, it was you CAN committee. You can go where I can. Bring your wife down. And that's what happened. John tells a story about burning the writs for the court. I heard a woman telling a story that her man came in and showed her it. Look what I got for the court. She says, I've just seen the guys on the TV burning them. You get your arse back up to that factory and burn yours. That's the type of unity and the type of support we had. If your wife tells you to do a thing like that, you're voting to continue that occupation forever. But I say that's what it's about. And that we talk about, we've organised with the help of Fair Play and other people and Richard 5 events up to now to leave what we call a legacy for the future. The legacy isn't monuments to John Gillen or John Brannan. It's no monuments to a struggle of 103 days. It's a monument to what people can do If they don't need intelligence or great leaders to band together when they're faced with a problem. All they need is honesty and the injustice of the thing pointed out to them. They will back us. And there's some great examples in the past, the guys who have led us. But I always say it's the shop stewards. If you're shop stewards in a factory, you're the cream, you're the guys. It's going to take the argument forward. Look at the great shop stewards of the past, like Reid, McGreevy, Campbell Christie, Bill Spears. These guys were all shop stewards before they got where they were. They were the guys who supported us when we needed it at a high level. The Gavin Lairds and the Sir John Boyds and the Bill Aikens disappeared. The Bill Tynans disappeared because they were part of a structure. It took guys who wanted to be a suit man, call it what you like. Here's a progression for you. And that's what happened. When I started in the Caterpillar, we were confronted with a situation or an organisation that might be similar to some of your own circumstances. Caterpillar refused to allow the trade union movement in 1956. A 10-week strike took place to get the union in. My contention was there were deals made to get the union in. Because when I started in the Caterpillar in 1961, and that was some 4 or 5 years after the trade union movement came in, most of the management in there were the ex-committee for the union, ex-convener, and ex-this and ex-that. So we had a young shop steward going to the company to argue the point, whether it be about money, whether it be conditions or anything else. The grando who had led the 10-week strike, or who was part of the committee of the 10-week strike, told the young shop steward, don't bother, this is the way to do it. Accept her and out and we'll deal with that later. No confrontation whatsoever. Caterpillar invested well in the early years. When it came to the 60s, and Gillen, Knight, Brannan, Hay, Kane and the rest came in, 18-year-olds who were only looking for a bit more money, they go to the wire work or the sweetie work outside and realised here's a company paying £40 a week, opposed to getting £22 or £23 a week, were quids in. And in we went. Money was our motivation. But we discovered, because we couldn't earn a full week's pay, with people arguing about overtime and taking us out every week, so instead of getting our big money for our mall, and we would be in Bonanza with the 40 quid, we were going home less than we go in the sweetie factory, because we're on strike every second day on an argument who should be out on a Sunday and who shouldn't be. And inevitably it was only settled when the shop steward and his mate was out on the Sunday. So we said, we'll need to put an end to this. And that's when I took an interest in the trade union movement, simply to get my £40 a week. But my eyes were then opened at how influential the trade union movement can be in the shop floor. You could say no. You could say it wasn't fair. You could say, I think that guy's right. You can't talk to a guy like that, because if you talk to him like you talk to me like that. And when you try to get to the depth of this why ex-conveners and ex-shop stewards were adopting this position as managers, you discover it was down to policies of the company who were bringing out charts and saying you've got to achieve 40% absenteeism or whatever it is. People shouldn't be offered what they're 40. You've got a 40% absentee rate. I said, you never ask about the people that's sick. There's a question never posed. But they're folks sick. That's how they're 40% up. But no, we don't want to know why they're up, but we want to that improved. And that was the attitude of the companies. And that get installed into people. The company are right. And that's when we start forgetting our class. We forget our comradeship. We forget what's fair and what's unfair. Because we start to believe the company's fair. And I take it right back now to the passages, the corridors in the Caterpillar. When you came to your work to stamp in, the big poster was up there. Plant with a future. What a load of shit. What a load of shit. Tom and Jerry stuff. And I thought it was only in the comics, but I lived through the comic. That stuff was there. And at the end of the day, Rifkin swallowed it. So the rest. Hopefully the car workers in England will not swallow it, because they'll face exactly the same problems as us. And I wonder at times, maybe because we've not got enough of you guys. And I say this because I've never been in a political party in my life, and I don't think I'm political. I say I'm grassroots, basic, miner son. who starved most of these days opposed to enjoyed the good times. And when I had the good times, I drank too much. So that made me a poor guy again. I'd always a controller, my class distinction. I just drank enough to keep me there. I didn't want to move away. Never liked champagne anyway. But I say, I'm hopefully that'll change. Hopefully we'll realise, I say with you guys here, keeping it alive, because if you don't keep it alive, see the guy that's sitting in the semi-detached house, he'll continue to think he's middle class. He'll think it can't happen to him. Because the guy in the Caterpillar, the guy in the shop floor will go first. There'll be a change in that and all. They'll realise eventually that they need the monkeys, by the way, they're and need the monkey keepers. And that's going to happen. It will happen. But it'll only happen, again, with us taking the message back. I'm too late now. It's past. I look back and I think, how's it happening? Where have we ever accepted 0 hours? Where did that terminology come from? It didn't come from the guy that's working 0 hours. Somebody made that up somewhere else and told him it was a good thing. I sat with a guy the other day who was putting a smart meter in my house. And he says to me, 0 hours is a good thing. I said, Jesus Christ, Jimmy. Another guy come back the next day and tell me that guy was paid half. I said, he's paid half. And he thinks 0 hours is a good thing. He says, aye. He says he was divorced and he took his kids to work at school before he came to work. He says he gave him 2 warnings and he done it yesterday and they paid him off. Because he didn't finish the job in my house. That is still happening. That's terrible that's happening today. Where's the support for a guy? He's in a situation. He's got 2 ends. He's got to get him to school. Nobody's legislated for that. There must be hundreds of guys out there are divorced. 1 minute's divorced. And they've got to wait till after 9 o'clock to go to work. Who's defending them? They're not giving them 13 weeks maternity leave. Or we'll give the guy 26 weeks to watch the way and to allow them to get back to work. There's an imbalance of where the fairness should be applying. And I'm only hoping that the legacy that we're leaving is to say that you can do something about that. We don't want monuments. We don't want film shows or TVs or the rest. The things we have done to celebrate the 30 years has been as a celebration of what we've done. The legacy we want to leave is to say to people, it can be challenged. You can say no. You can say it's unfair. That's what our legacy is about. And thank you for listening.